Okay, good. We're recording. Okay. So, well, welcome to our women's health and hormones. This is a topic that I love. As a functional nutritional therapy practitioner, this is something that I work pretty closely with. A lot of people, a lot of my clients come to me with hormonal issues, have a lot of concerns with just feeling super PMS or perimenopausal earlier than later these years. And so a lot of that to me is just really indicative of our environment and the toxic environment that we live in. And so what's really amazing is the body has this ability to heal when we give it what it needs. And so tonight we're going to go over all of that. And I'm really just going to touch on a bunch of oils and different supplements that we have that we can use to really support our overall health, and oils to help with some of the symptoms and get kind of to that root cause of what's going on in our body. So this is, gosh, we're coming to the end. I think, is next week the end? Yep, it is. So we are on the 7th week of our continuing education series. You can see here all of the different topics that we've actually gone through so far. And if you have missed these, we'll restart this series in a couple weeks and you can jump back in and catch the topics that you might have missed. We don't tend to record these. I'm recording this specifically for my community just because I wanted to. And so, yeah, just pop in and, you can always like side message me and I can give you the recording too. So, if you do attend all 8 classes, then we are gifting you guys, your upline is gifting you one of these beautiful handmade oil cases. They're absolutely gorgeous. And so if you have any questions about that, just let us know, let your upline know, whoever you enrolled with, and they'll make sure that you get that. And we're keeping tabs on everybody who has attended all of the classes. And so again, make sure you pop your name into the chat that you're here tonight, and we'll get that all organized. So you are accounted for. Okay, so as we get started, I want you guys all to think about, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no unwanted symptoms to 10 being out of control symptoms. And these are going to be specifically to your monthly cycle and how you're feeling. And are you feeling emotional? Are you feeling super crazy PMSy, like you could murder somebody? Do you feel like you're just super uncomfortable? Maybe you're super heavy. Whatever these symptoms are, maybe you're having hot flashes. These are different symptoms that a lot of women have, a lot of us have. But you guys, we're not supposed to have these. All of these symptoms are actually signs that your body is deficient in some area. And so it needs more nutrients. It needs to absorb things properly. You might need detox. You might just need some cellular support in general. So I want you just to list on there on a scale of 1 to 10 where you rest. Okay. You can keep it to yourself for now. And you know what? It's interesting. I don't know about you guys, but I have in the past realized that if I am eating really clean and I'm being really careful with my sugar intake, my wine intake, that my symptoms are so much better monthly. I'm not feeling out of control. I'm not feeling super crampy. I'm way more regular. And that is, I'll get into all of that in a little bit. But so each month can be a little bit differently. But overall, you guys just be thinking of these things. And then there's areas, these right here, all these different areas and symptoms, I guess, right here: hyperthyroid, adrenal fatigue, difficult losing weight, mood swings, trouble sleeping, infertility, poor memory, diabetes, and so on and so forth. These are all symptoms and signs that there is a hormone imbalance in your body. And pretty much all things kind of will be contributed to some sort of hormone imbalance, right? So even if your digestion is a mess, we're going to see some type of hormone imbalance down the road. So we're going to get into all of that. But I do think it's really, really, really important to just start to touch on really ways that okay, so there's so many environmental factors that are very disruptive to our endocrine system. And so some of the endocrine disruptors are chemicals that interfere with the body's system, and they interfere with the body's ability to produce specific hormones. And so what happens is we have issues with, our developmental issues, like with our children, if they're exposed to a lot of estrogen early on, or even in the womb. So there's issues with reproductive, there's neurological issues, there's immunology issues, there's all these different things that will start to affect your hormones in a very negative way. So the damage really comes from early on, and we're starting to see that more and more as we live in a really toxic environment. And you guys have heard me say this as I've taught a few of these other classes. So really something that I want to give you guys just from a practitioner standpoint is some things that I want to give you guys some tangible things that you can actually start to eliminate, not just essential oils and not just supplements from doTERRA. But if you guys can start to just be aware of some of these endocrine disruptors, such as Plastic in general is super toxic. It contains major endocrine disruptors. And what happens is it leaches into our food. And so when you cook with plastic, when you reheat things in plastic, when you're putting things into plastic baggies and they're sitting in your hot car, when you're drinking hot water you're drinking out of a plastic water bottle that might have been left in your car. I'm just thinking of all the things that I notice in our family that happen all the time. What's happening is when that plastic gets hot, it's leaching into the food or into the liquid that you're going to be ingesting. And so that's where we start over and over, little by little, little becomes a lot. And we're constantly ingesting, BPA, which is one of the worst hormone disruptors out there, in my opinion. They are saying that BPA in general, animal studies suggest that exposure to it today can actually impact 3 generations. So it is a big deal, you guys, that we start to eliminate our plastic, not just for our environment, but for our well-being. And plastic, BPA, and all these different chemicals that make up plastic, they have xenoestrogens, and these xenoestrogens actually, they cause our normal estrogen levels to be all over the place. And so we get this huge amount of estrogen in our bodies. And what's happening too is like it's getting into our boys, and our boys are starting to develop breasts, and we're seeing all these crazy hormone disruptions within their bodies because they're being so exposed to plastic. So even plastic straws, you guys, just start to eliminate them as much as possible. And it is hard because it's everywhere, right? So these are some things that you guys can, just practically start to be aware of. And I didn't know this until someone taught me. So maybe you guys already know all of this information, but I think it's really important to talk about it because we're talking about hormones. And so BPA also is found in a lot of canned foods. It's found in a lot of frozen foods and in the wrapping and the plastics and stuff that the frozen food, the packaging that they come from. And so it's really just, again, the more you can eat something that is, from the earth, and you can cook something that's from the earth and has been raised or grown in the earth, is going to be better than something that is, bought in a package. And so where we also see some of these high BPA, high plastic contents are lids of jars, lids of baby food, pickle jars, jelly, salsa, but all of those have high contents of BPA. So you can also look up BPA-free packaging, and there's a lot of companies now that that's their jam, is that they promote that they put their foods, their condiments into BPA-free packaging. And so look that up. It's everywhere. Thrive.com has a lot of companies that are really into following those specific guidelines. So and then moving on, a lot of household cleaners. You guys, ditch it all. If there is anything I can say more simple, it would be to ditch all of your household cleaners, other than using our On Guard Cleaning Concentrate, using Branch Basics, phenomenal company, you guys, and really inexpensive to users. They actually just started, they were so sweet. They reached out to me over social media last month and sent me this huge package for free. They wanted me to talk about them, but I was so grateful for it. But they have these new glass bottles now, spray bottles that they are selling as well. So they're trying to move from using plastic to also encouraging people to use glass to, put all their cleaning sprays into. So make all your own laundry soaps, your cleaners, your window cleaners, your floor cleaners, all of that. They actually have all of that. And I mean, we know that our oils are amazing for cleaning. I actually taught, I think it was like the second class that we did in this series, and I gave you guys a whole bunch of recipes. Or maybe, Shauna, you actually taught that. I taught it on the first series. So anyways, we have just so many recipes even within doTERRA. If you go to the blog, and you can learn about all the different cleaning DIY recipes to make your own stuff. So ditch the bleach, ditch all of the store-bought chemical crap, because you guys, it is leaching into everything. It's leaching into our water system. It's constantly on our kids' skin. And so these are like huge things. Another one, since this is a women's and hormone class, really think about birth control. Rethink about how you're using birth control. If you are someone who has been on birth control for a long time, there's so many safer approaches and more natural approaches that you can do to regulate that. And there's different, contraceptions that you can use that are just not as disruptive to our hormones in general as taking the pill and whatnot. So just look into it, you guys. Educate yourself more on some of this, and really start to read your beauty product, the labels, your makeup product. I love Beautycounter. Yes, they're another network marketing company, and they're amazing, and their products are super clean. I swear by them. I don't sell them, but I swear by all of their stuff. I love it, their makeup especially. So yeah, just make sure all those things, those are all of these things that I've just mentioned are all major issues right now and major hormone disruptors to our whole endocrine system. So, and then lastly, diet, you guys. Obviously, I'm a huge component of eating a nutrient-dense, clean diet that is properly prepared. It's not always easy, and my family doesn't always eat that way, but we do our best. And so we're constantly thinking of just eating the best that we can with what the options that we have. So avoiding processed food, avoiding the refined foods, avoiding pesticides and herbicides. So eating, as much organic produce as possible. EWG is a great resource for all of this. You can look up all of your, you can look up all of your beauty products. You can also look up the Dirty Dozen. I think I mentioned this last class. And so it's EWG.org, and just start to educate yourself on all the different types of chemicals and what they cause and what type of disruptor they are, whether they're cancer causing or, they are neurotoxins or whatnot. And then as far as the Dirty Dozen, it'll tell you just all of the, the produce that it's safe to eat, conventional, and the produce that you want to make sure you stick to only eating organic, because there is a lot of produce that is very dirty and like extremely toxic to our bodies if we eat it, because it is sprayed heavily with pesticides and herbicides, which we know lead to cancer and so many other health issues. So, and buying pasture-raised animal products, buying meat and fish that comes from the wild, that has been naturally raised in the wild, not that comes from farms where it's highly corn and soy fed. So really digging into that, and then just eating lots of veggies and buying local. So those are my tidbits as a practitioner, and my job is to teach people how to source their food well and how to prepare it properly and how to supplement and get to the root cause. So I really wanted to just give you that chunk right before we really dive into all the other things. So yeah, the endocrine system is directly involved in the growth and the development and the metabolism, nutrient regulation, and overall homeostasis of our body, which is just that state of harmony, that state of balance. So a system of glands that produce and send hormones to targeted organs and tissues via the circulatory system. So essential oils can be very beneficial since they are circulating in the same way, and profoundly benefit to the cells that are encountered in that whole process. So we have the pineal gland, we have the thymus, we have the ovaries, we have the testicles for males. We have the placenta during pregnancy, right, that grows in our uterus. And then we have the adrenal glands, the pancreas, the thyroid, the parathyroid glands, the pituitary, and the hypothalamus. And so it's really this very integrative and very complicated system. This was one of the systems that we spent a really long time in when I went back to school. And it's just fascinating how everything just so works together in this way. So to start out with, you guys, making sure that you are taking your Lifelong Vitality, and again, it's that foundational nutritional just importance of getting everything that you need so you're able to have that optimal hormone balance and those great energy levels. Lifelong Vitality is packed with just so much great nutrients. Of course, all of the antioxidants, the anti-inflammatories, and just all of the energy cofactors. So it is our foundation, and I love it, and I swear by it, as you all know. And so if you haven't started taking it, I recommend highly that you do start taking it, because it is just foundational and making sure that we're getting all of the nutrients that we need on a daily basis. So some other products that are really important, and just going back to the body systems, making sure that in the midst of this, that our detoxification systems are properly working. If they're not properly working, we're basically walking around with a whole bunch of clogged filters. And so everything that we breathe in, we come in contact with toxins through our respiratory system, through the food that we eat, through the products that we put onto our skin. And so those systems, our lymphatic system, our kidneys, our liver, everything gets super congested when we aren't eating clean and when we live in a really toxic environment. And so really supporting your liver function is absolutely vital this day and age. So healthy liver function is, it is one of the most important things when it comes to hormone balance. Our liver has many, many, many important parts that it plays in our entire, homeostasis, and hormone balance is one of them. So protecting your liver is very important. And some of the ways that we do that with doTERRA's products is the Zindecrine Complex and the Zindecrine Soft Gels. Now, they work very synergistically together, and I like to take these on a pretty regular basis. Sometimes I'm more intentional for a 2-week period or a 10-day period if I'm feeling really congested. And so the Zindecrine Complex actually is a blend of herbs, and it works really well. We have 2 different types of detoxification processes within our body. One of them is the ability to release toxins out of those filters, right? And out of the, maybe the fat. Our fat has a natural ability to protect the cells. And so what it does, the body protects whatever that toxin is with fat. And so what happens though is we get congested in those areas. And so there is this response that happens, and this is very layman and very simply said, because it's a crazy process, right? The way our body works is incredible. So I'm saying it in very layman terms, but the Zindecrine Complex tells our body it's okay to release those toxins. And then the Zindecrine Soft Gel, which is our Zindecrine oil, is telling the body that it's okay, it's time to pass it. So we call this phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. There are 2 different processes that happen in our body. And so those both should be actually taken together. And you can take 1 soft gel and 1 complex daily just to do gentle detox. Now, if you're wanting to do a full reset, you could take 2 of each, morning and night, and do that for 10 days and just kind of do a full reset. And that's going to just help to support that liver function. Lemon essential oil, also drinking that daily, a couple drops in your glass or your stainless steel water bottle is fantastic. Slim and Sassy, same thing. And so we call this Slim and Sassy our metabolic blend, but what it's doing is it's just super supportive in helping our body to detox. And so drinking lots of water during this time. And these are things that you can do on a daily basis, or if you're just starting to feel kind of congested. And again, I'm a firm believer in just following like your intuition. If your body is feeling congested, then do it. And if you're starting to feel good and you're like, you know what, I don't really think I need to be detoxing right this moment, then take a break from it, and that's okay. Supporting our adrenals. is another really, really important part. The Mito2 Max actually is a fantastic, and we've talked about it, but it's wonderful for just supporting energy. It's wonderful for just prevention. If you're in a stressed out state constantly, what's happening is you're sending, your body's in this constant state of like fight or flight. And so you have cortisol pumping through your body. And then what happens over time as that's happening, and we're living in that chronic state of stress, your cortisol levels get all thrown off. And that's where we see adrenal fatigue. And you might have symptoms of this. And some of them are like, if you wake up in the morning, you're feeling like super exhausted. Like you don't feel rested in the morning. And then throughout the day, you're kind of like logy. That's what we call like lazy and kind of like sluggish, logy in our house. And if you're feeling like that, and then all of a sudden, 8, 9, 10 o'clock comes around at night and you're like wide awake, well, that's a sign of adrenal fatigue. Your adrenals are not functioning properly. And so it's time to reset them. So taking Mito2 Max in the morning and in the, like during the afternoon, mid-afternoon would be the latest. So I like to take them first thing when I wake up, and then around 1 or 2 in the afternoon at the latest. So you could take them, with your lunch if you're starting to feel kind of tired. And doing that on a regular basis for a couple months is going to help to kind of reset your adrenals and help to support that natural circadian rhythm. And then going to sleep early, during that time is going to help to reset your sleep cycle. So we use Mito2 Max more of a preventative, but it is nice to have too if you're just kind of feeling tired in the afternoon. And maybe you don't have adrenal issues, but you do get kind of tired once in a while. Pop a couple of the Mito2 Max in and drink a big glass of water, and you'll feel great. So you're not going to get, it's a natural stimulant, and you're not going to get that caffeine high or anything. So fantastic. And then applying Magnolia. A Magnolia is, oh my gosh, you guys, it is the highest concentrate of linalool oil. And it's actually higher than lavender. So lavender has, let me think. Magnolia has 71% of the magnolia oil is linalool oil. So I think that's twice as much as lavender has in it. So isn't that crazy? So you guys may have heard me talk about using lavender for sunburns. I have now been, after doing a little bit of research a few weeks ago, I forget about some of my oils. I'm sure you guys do too. So these classes are actually even good for those of us who have been using doTERRA's oils forever, but Magnolia is the oil that I should be using on my skin if I get sunburnt, or my kids, because that linalool oil is helping to protect the skin from rogue cells, from cellular damage that is happening from those really harsh UV rays. It's going to help, nerve the nerves in our cells that could be potentially damaged from that, harsh sun. So in general, it's going to be way more rejuvenating even than our lavender. So you can combine them. But what we love too, since we're on the topic of women's health, Magnolia is really wonderful for just supporting really even physical, like mood balancing. Sorry, not physical, but just mood balancing in general. So it's really going to help in general with stress. It's going to help with PMS. It's going to help with just kind of realigning your thoughts if you're feeling a little out of control. So we love Magnolia for so many reasons. Some other notes that I have on Magnolia specifically are, on linalool. Linalool aids in lipid balance, and our lipids are actually made out of cholesterol and triglycerides, and the two of them actually are different types of lipids, and they circulate in our blood. So the triglyceride oh my gosh, I can't talk. The triglycerides store calories that aren't used and provide the body with energy later on. And then the cholesterol is used to build the cell and produce certain hormones. And so cholesterol has gotten a very bad rap over the years because a lot of people actually started having cholesterol issues because they were eating really toxic foods, toxic meats especially. And so if you're eating truly pastured animals and wild game and whatnot, then you're actually getting the healthy form of cholesterol. So cholesterol is very, very important for just all cellular and hormone function. So it is vital. If you have cholesterol issues, it's not because you're eating too many eggs or too much salt in your diet. It's actually because your diet is probably not very clean. And so it's time to really weed some of those, unclean meats and, you know, even the processed foods in your diet, and that's going to really significantly change it. So the cycle can only become problematic when you eat more calories than you burn. And so this is where it leads to high triglycerides. And so there is just like this crazy constant, your body's constantly trying to stay in homeostasis with what you eat and how you eat it. And, you know, if you're eating it rushed, if you're eating it with the proper cofactors and whatnot. So these two are very important to work together. Okay, so moving on to the female reproductive system and just what it entails, we know that it entails our ovaries, our fallopian tubes, our uterus, our cervix, the external genitalia, the breasts, and they work closely with all the symptoms in our body. Everything is all constantly working together to make up that endocrine system. So the ovaries secrete estrogen and progesterone, which are crucial for fertility, but also play a key role in women's emotional and physical health. So when I am using oils like Magnolia, and another oil that I actually don't have listed in this presentation that I was kind of running behind and I didn't get to add is Neroli. Neroli is one of the most incredible hormone balancing oils. I use Neroli and the Clary Calm and Clary Sage during my period every month, and it balances me out so much. I just actually had a really hilarious conversation with my 13-year-old, and we were looking at this the emotional wheel, and he was all upset because I made him turn off electronics, and we're trying to limit electronic use. And he's like, I need to find an oil for irritation. And so he's like going through the wheel, like trying to find the oil for irritation. We didn't find it. Anyways, I was like, oh wait, I have my my Essential Life book open right here, and Neroli that I just put on, it says it's great for irritation. So I like gave it to him and he put it on. I'm like, you need to put it on. I want you to put it on your thyroid. I want you to put it on. And this is where I'm going with this. You want to put it on your heel and the inner highest part of the arch of your foot. And those are actually pressure points there that are directly linked to your ovaries, for males, their testes, their prostate. And so it actually supports that hormone function. And so literally 2 minutes later, he was like giggling and laughing. And I was like, it worked. And he's like, whatever, it doesn't work, but it works. It really works. And so those are just some areas. And this is why you want to apply them over your ovaries and over some of those, you guys, what are the pressure points? I'm totally forgetting the reflexology. There's specific nerve endings. And so that's why we put them on those spots, because it has a direct access to that body system. So they're great. So anyways, Clary Calm is so fantastic for just balancing your hormones. Even if you're feeling like you're any type of PMS or like any type of symptom from your period, even if it's pre or post, it's going to help. So even just cramps, you guys, just lather that. I literally roll it up and down over my ovaries, and it works wonderful. So hot flashes, mood swings, great for teenagers, you guys. And it's just gonna help to basically balance all those hormones out and take those symptoms away, because it's getting to the root cause. Rose is our queen of oil. Rose, oh my gosh, there's so much to actually go over with rose, but it's definitely an oil. Because it's more expensive, a lot of people tend to save it and like save it for a rainy day. But I want to encourage you guys to actually start using it. Purchase a bottle of it. It's expensive, but it will last you forever, and you can add it to the Rose Touch, if your Rose Touch goes out, and you can just make your own roller with it. But one 5 milliliter bottle of rose takes 10,000 roses to produce. So this has been an oil that actually doTERRA didn't release to us until a couple years ago, until they actually had proper sourcing from Bulgaria. And if you look up our Bulgaria rose fields, it's absolutely beautiful. But it has the highest energy, like resonance. And so it just vibrates at a very high, the highest level of any oil. And so, which means that it's really, it's the most bioavailable to our body. So our body absorbs it and has that immediate reaction. So it's so powerful, you guys. It's wonderful to, for any type of skin issue. Obviously, it's great for hormone balancing. It's really wonderful for supporting your healthy cortisol levels. So it's going to bring down or up those cortisol levels. If you are feeling that adrenal fatigue, it's a fantastic oil for that. And really, I mean, it's the oil of divine love, and it's going to restore on an emotional level that authenticity of just that divine love, and bringing your awareness back to you about love or the divine. And I know that for so many of us, that is very important. And sometimes, especially during these, I don't know about you guys, but the last couple of weeks have been brutal. Just with all of the news that has been going on, and just the horrific stories of like all of the trafficking happening, man, it's scary. I feel like we are living in very scary times right now. And so more than ever, just applying those oils to your heart and just really protecting yourself and your emotions during this time, and just being in charge of them, right? And in control of them. So I love this oil, and it's so wonderful for everything and anything, right? Boost your libido. You can apply it to your lower abdomen if you're feeling, any discomfort in general. And so it's good for all the things. We have our phytoestrogen complex, and this is going to be actually, so what are phytoestrogens? Phytoestrogens actually are found in plants, and phytoestrogens help to, we have, estrogen is a hormone that our body makes, right? And then phytoestrogens are actually something we get from food. And then xenoestrogens are toxic estrogen. And so our phytoestrogens actually come into our body. We eat them through food, and it has this very intelligent ability to see how it works with our hormones. And it says, oh my gosh, your body is really high in estrogen. So the phytoestrogens are going to bring those estrogen levels down. It's going to tell your body to dump some of those estrogen hormones. And so it's going to help to bring them down. Or if they're very low, it's going to say, okay, we need to produce more estrogen. And so it's going to tell the body to produce more estrogen. And that's where phytoestrogens are actually really important. The problem is that a lot of people aren't getting them from their food because they're not eating a lot of fresh food. So again, going back to eating the fresh food. So I would say the top uses for this are people who are in severe dysfunction. This is not something I recommend on a daily basis. Now, if someone is, going through menopause extremely early, then this might be a supplement that would be recommended. Or they're in perimenopausal and they're having horrible symptoms, horrible mood swings, horrible hot flashes, horrible PMS, then yes, this might be something. The reason I'm a little apprehensive with this is because it does have soy. Now, I never recommend anything with soy, but it does have fermented soy. So it is one of the safe byproducts of soy. So you have to just go with your gut. And if you feel like you want to take this and this is something that your body needs, then you can take it. And if not, you can leave it. So we have our bone nutrients. This is awesome. It has all of our vitamins, all of the calcium and magnesium that we need, just an extra boost. So this is just an extra boost if you're feeling like, or that your bone density has been going down. You're definitely going to want to add this into your Lifelong Vitality Pack every day. Okay, so then, because we're going through all the body systems, right? So now if we're going to be supporting the pancreas, which is really important for all of our blood sugar handling, which is very, very important in general. So taking grapefruit, peppermint, lemon, and the metabolic blend, or Slim and Sassy blend, soft gels, are really important. So many hormonal issues we have in our body actually stem from an insulin resistance. And where insulin resistance comes is from eating too much sugar and eating too much processed food. So literally you can change that aspect. If you are someone who is, has diabetes, obviously if you have diabetes 1, then obviously you're reliant on the insulin. But I have worked with many clients who have really changed their diet and eat more of a ketogenic diet, and they're eating really, really clean and staying away from sugars, and they're not having to use as much insulin. And then of course, type 2, you can really reverse that by changing your diet. Two of the I've watched just absolute miracles happen by people changing their diets. But some oils that can help on that cellular level to support, maybe your sugar addictions or whatnot would be grapefruit, and peppermint and lemon in general are just going to help to regulate that, your pancreas, and help to support it to function properly. So just another really important aspect that contributes to our hormones. Caring for the thyroid. This is a fantastic blend that you guys can make. Clove, myrrh, lemongrass, frankincense, and peppermint. So it's not a life sentence having, these diagnoses of having like hypo or hyperthyroidism. Again, your body, and this is why I became a practitioner, because I watched just simply changing and pulling out some of the things that our family was eating. I watched it dramatically change our family's life. And so that's where I was like, oh my gosh, food and essential oils and getting to the root cause can dramatically change some of these diagnoses that we get. So we can support our liver, adrenals, ovaries, pancreas, and our pineal gland and the pituitary gland with all of these oils, and really work on those stress levels and make sure that we're drinking lots of water. But specifically for the thyroid, this is a fantastic blend. You can combine 10 drops of each of these into a 15 milliliter bottle, and then just top it off with fractionated coconut oil, and you can apply it directly to your thyroid on a daily basis, and it's just going to support that healthy thyroid function. Okay, and then the pineal gland produces melatonin and regulates the circadian rhythm, which is our sleep cycle. It's responsible for the melatonin production in our brains, and it's just really supports our body to relax. And then you can support, of course, the pineal gland with Serenity and Copaiba soft gels, which are wonderful for just supporting that calmness, helping you to stay in a more constant sleep if you do have an issue with waking up during the night. Sleeping in a dark room with an eye mask on is fantastic, or like me, putting a pillow over your head, using blackout curtains, using blue blockers after 7 o'clock at night is ideal if you can do that. And that's really going to just support the pineal gland. Is just so important for all things sleep related. So, and yeah, practicing meditation, just like we have in our notes here, is also really important before you go to sleep, just to calm your brain. And then, so the Immortelle blend is fantastic. And then of course, frankincense for that. I love to use frankincense all the time. I love to just drop it under my tongue, use it on my skin topically. But specifically to calm the body, it's fantastic just to use it in those ways. Okay, so that's pretty much all that I have. These are, if you guys just want to actually take some notes, I kind of did my own thing rather than using this slide. But here is a protocol, some different protocols that you guys can use. Take a screenshot of this and just different ways that you can support each one of these systems in our body. And doing it on a regular basis. Now, if you're feeling like your hormones are out of whack, do all of this. Like, just start to implement this and start pulling out the processed foods and start eating a little bit more clean, or all the way clean if you can do it. I love to recommend people who are doing a full reset to do our Cleanse and Restore kit. That really just totally resets the body. And then doing a Whole30 diet for 30 days and really committing to yourself to make these changes and to do that full reset. And in doing so, you're going to reset your whole endocrine system so it's functioning properly, and then implementing these different protocols. So, and then the Symphony of the Cell protocol for our hormone balance is frankincense, carrier oil, thyme, ginger, clary sage, grapefruit, Roman chamomile, ylang ylang, lavender, and Siberian fir. And so what you're going to do is, again, take a screenshot of this. And I know I promised you guys that I was going to teach a Symphony of the Cells class. And I think I'll be able to probably do it towards the end of next month. So you'll just have to stay tuned. We'll let you guys know when I'm going to teach it. But, and if you don't know what Symphony of the Cell is, it's a very specific, intentional way of using a handful of oils that you layer over each other. So in this case, you would first apply frankincense to the neck, and then you would have the person who you are doing this Symphony of the Cells protocol on, have them smell it through their hands, or if you have one of the little diffusers, those are awesome. And then putting it on the feet. and then using a carrier oil, okay, then you're gonna rub the carrier oil down the spine, and then you're gonna drop thyme, ginger, clary sage. I'm sorry, I didn't say, for frankincense, you're just gonna first apply it on the neck, and then you're gonna use carrier oil, and then you're gonna drop thyme, ginger, clary sage, grapefruit, Roman chamomile, ylang ylang, lavender, and Siberian fir down the spine. And then you're going to do a very specific, you're going to massage it into the spine in a very specific way. So, and if you haven't done the Symphony of the Cell training yet, you'll get, when we go through the class, I'll be able to teach you a little bit further how to do that, but you can't really mess it up. So this is just another protocol. And then what you would have them do is just actually smell each drop through just their olfactory nerve, and so they're getting that whole response from the limbic system in the brain. And then you're going to do the same application on the feet. So it's really, it's super powerful. Anyways, okay, so that is one of the Symphony of the Cells protocols. So moving on, you guys, those of you who are catching this for the first time, if you're not familiar with what loyalty rewards are, if you set up your loyalty rewards cart, it allows you basically to earn like frequent flyer miles. So you earn points off of every single point that you purchase. And so in order to keep your cart open, you have to just spend 1 PV each month to keep it open. And if you spend 50 PV each month, then you get to actually climb up the 10% all the way up to the 30% over 13 months. And so if you've been ordering for 13 months, at least 50 PV or more, then you're getting 30% back off of every single order. And then if you're wanting to start sharing oils with people and get compensated for it, maybe it's just potentially to get your oils paid for, you have to spend that 100 PV, and that allows you to be eligible to earn commissions. And then 125 PV between the 1st and the 15th of the month allows you to get the product of the month, which is fantastic. So this is just our amazing reward system that allows us to purchase oils less than even our wholesale discount that we get. So we like to put together sample boxes. Here is a specific sample box that you guys could use specifically for this month if you're wanting to, like, some ideas. I think actually you could swap a couple of these out for other things, but just to stick with what we've already put together, this specific kit is 125 PV. So if you remember, what is today? Today's the 14th. So if you order by tomorrow, then you'll still get the free oil of the month. And then, so this is the Women's Health Kit, which is 60 PV. And then if you added the Rose Touch, it's 65 PV. And then that gets you to that 125 PV. So then you would earn back your product points depending on where you fall within that scale, and get your shipping back into your rewards cart as well. So it's a fantastic way to order. And then just to let you guys know, obviously there are, and we've been going over this, feels a little redundant, but there are 3 types of people who come to our classes, you guys. There's those of you who are just excited to, learn more, learn how to take care of your families better, yourselves better. And we have so many resources. Obviously we have our continuing ed. If you go to doTERRA's website, the blog, it has so much information, so much great information. So doTERRA really empowers us with information and education within their website and whatnot. And of course, we love to just teach you guys and continue to teach you guys all the things. And then the second type of person really just isn't excited to share oils, and they want to get their oils potentially paid for. And so if this is you, or you're interested in doing what we do and building and teaching and empowering people through just education, and maybe you've been watching us for a while and you're like, yep, I want to do what you do. I want to do what you and Susan and Griffin and all of us do, Shara. Then yeah, dive in with us. And we talk about the business opportunity presentation every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. So dive in, take a screenshot of this so you guys have it. And if you miss it, then feel free to just text or email or find your upline and ask them how to get to this link, and we'll get you there. So that is it for tonight. I wanted to open it up. Where are we? Okay. I just wanted to open it up to any questions that you guys have. Feel free to unmute yourself You guys check the chat.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Okay, this is my first class and it was really awesome. That was a lot of great information. Thank you.
You're really
I'm interested in the sample kit, but I was wondering the Fido one, if I was able to if I could replace that with that sleep serum with the frankincense, or if I could use frankincense for that instead for the sample.
yeah. So wait, have you set up your wholesale account yet?
Yes, I put in an order a few weeks ago, so I got that all set up.
Perfect. So I would just touch base with whoever enrolled you, but really briefly, what you would do is you would go into your, doTERRA sends you an email confirmation when you first set up your account, and it has your ID number and your passcode.
Yes.
You'll go to doTERRA.com, you'll log in with your ID number and your passcode, and then you'll log in and set up your LRP account, and then you actually can create whatever you want. So that is just a sample. That's not necessarily like something, it is the women's kit. So you could purchase the women's kit, or you could actually create whatever you want. The whole point of that is to get off of what we've talked about, that specific order to 125 PV. So you do get the free oil of the month, which, why am I totally forgetting what it is? Is it fennel? Oh my God. Yeah, it's fennel. Okay. Which is amazing for digestion. Absolutely phenomenal for digestion. So,
Okay, so you put in all your information. You just go to the LRP account. There's a link for it.
yes.
Sorry, I'm writing down the steps.
Yeah. Who enrolled you?
Shauna Dukes.
Oh, she'll set you up. She'll get you all.
Okay.
She'll get you all set up, girl. By tonight. So you get the free oil of the month.
Oh, she just texted me. Perfect. All right, great.
Sometimes it's just easier to walk through it with anybody who's new the first time, because it can just be a little confusing.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. That was my only question. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, anybody else?
Gracie, there was a question, honey, a while back about how do you know when your liver is congested and if you need to take Zendocrine? So that's a great question. Some of the symptoms to look out for.
So some signs of liver congestion are definitely skin issues, lots of headaches, hormonal issues. Pretty much everything goes back to the liver, but I would say majorly would be fatigue, skin issues, headaches. What else? What else am I forgetting? Yeah, those would be probably the top ones that I see as a practitioner. Skin issues are a huge one, huge.
Gracie, I haven't gone through a Symphony of the Cells class yet, and I was wondering, how often do you do that protocol?
You know what? I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure on that, which is why I was like, I want to teach this class because I want to learn more about it.
Okay.
But so I'm going to learn a bit more about it, and I like in the process of figuring that out. So I do know that I've used it when last year I actually had just a funky viral infection, I'm sure. And I had my husband do that on me every day for like, I want to say 3 days. And within 3 days, it was like all of my symptoms like just started to subside. So you can do it daily for sure.
Okay.
You could probably do it. You can do it multiple times a day. So
Okay. I wasn't sure if there's like
I'm not sure what he recommends.
Okay, thank you so much.
Ramona says 2 to 3 times a week for 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
So, yeah. And of course, like for hormonal issues, that is something that it's not just like I have a cold. It's like something, it's been years. It's taking your body years of dysfunction, years of not, having all of the things that it needs. And so, yes, doing something for 3 to 4 months makes way more sense if it's if it's something chronic that you're working through.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so if your thyroid has been removed, you actually, we always support that specific body system, whether it's there or not. You still have to support it. So yes, you still do all the same protocols. Nothing changes. Let's see, what else? Did I miss anything else? If I missed your question, you guys just put it back in here. There's a lot. There was a
I
lot.
have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So on the Magnolia, you said to roll it twice a day, and I wasn't quite sure the location where you would roll it.
I would roll it. I would roll it if you're wanting to use it for thyroid, for your thyroid, then I would roll it on your thyroid. If you want to use it for just your ovaries, and then I would apply it to just your lower abdomen. Here's the cool thing with essential oils, you guys, is that there's not a wrong place to put them. You can put them on the bottoms of your feet. You can put them on your perfume points on your body, on your neck, down the back of your spine. There's not a wrong place. They are going to absorb into your bloodstream, and every cell in the body is going to positively be affected by the constituents in that oil. Okay, anybody else? Okay, what are skin issues that you look out for? Rash, dryness, etc. Yeah, for sure. Any skin issue. Dryness, rashes, for sure. Eczema, psoriasis. Those are all major red flags that the liver needs a lot of support. Headaches are a big one too. People who have chronic headaches, huge. Liver support is huge. In fact, I personally have a great testimony of using, doing coffee enemas. I've actually been doing them for years now because I had hormonal headaches, and it was using oils, changing my diet, getting rid of, sugar, and realizing that sugar really set my body off, and doing weekly, like I do them like 3 to 4 times a week. So, and it has dramatically changed my headaches. I don't get hormonal headaches like I used to. If you go to my website, beautifulandcleanliving.com, and the left-hand corner, I have like the 3 little lines. If you click that, I have a whole bunch of protocols like for doing dry brushing, and you guys are welcome to utilize those. More on coffee enemas, oil pullings, all these different ways of just, doing detoxes and supporting all the different things. Okay. So, you know what? Here's the thing. If you can't tell if the Clary Calm is working for you during your period, I mean, you would know if it's working if your cramps are starting to go away, and maybe you need to use it a little bit more. Don't be afraid to use your oils more than 1 drop. Like, we always recommend and have a starting place for people, but as you're using them, your body's getting to know them and the constituents that you're putting on and into it, your body becomes intelligent, and it starts to recognize it, and it goes, oh, I have this specific constituent that comes in Clary Calm, and it balances the hormones. And so literally your body starts to recognize it, and it starts to help with those specific symptoms. Now, sometimes you need to switch what you're using. If Clary Calm is not working, then you try Neroli, try Magnolia, and work with it. Everybody's body is so different, right? And so what oils work well for my PMS symptoms may not work well for you. So that's where I love this book, you guys, the Essential Life book. It's fantastic. And you can kind of like problem solve through it. Another resource that I forgot to tell you guys was Dr. Mariza.com, DrMariza.com. Dr. Maria Snyder, she actually is a doctor that now works within doTERRA, and she sells doTERRA and educates on doTERRA. She has so many great resources on her website too, if you guys want to look up even more in-depth information. She has great stuff. And I think she has a summit that she did that you can probably pay for it. I don't think it's very expensive, but you could pay to watch that summit. and it's specifically on women's health and hormones. Ooh, yeah, Ramona said to add Whisper. I love Whisper. Another great resource is Stephanie Fritz, and I don't remember her book, but she did write the pregnancy book. She's amazing, and she is the Essential Midwife. She's phenomenal. Yes, Michelle Burns is putting tons of information in here. Thank you, Michelle, for doing that. Yeah, you know what? Some of the oils, if you aren't loving the aroma of it, just apply it to the bottoms of your feet and do it morning and night, and then put a pair of socks on. That's the best way to use oils if you don't like the smell of them. Just remember that we're not using them for their aroma. We're actually using them for, I mean, in some cases we are for their aromatic uses, but or their aromatherapy issue or qualities, but we're using them for what they're prominent in, those specific constituents that they're high in. The medicinal aspect of them. You know what? It's okay. She's saying, I don't mind the smell. I feel like other people are bothered by it. Who cares? I'm gonna just look her up real quick. Stephanie Fritz is her name, and I'm forgetting her handle specifically. She's so awesome, actually. I've gotten to know her a bit over this last year. Yeah, so her handle is _essential_midwife. She has, and she focuses on pregnancy, but of course, all of her information is just phenomenal. You're welcome. Okay, anything else? Isn't it amazing all the different ways we can use oils and supplements, and isn't it? It's absolutely incredible. All right, guys. Well, it's 7 and I'm ready to eat. I'm hungry. So love you all. Talk to you and see you soon. If you do have questions, you know where to find me. Bye, guys.